Hi, and welcome back to Duende. In this third installment of our mini-series on Content Security Policy, or CSP, which is part of our comprehensive Web Application Security series, we will find out how to detect when a policy violation has occurred. But before we start, as usual, subscribe to our channel to get notified whenever we release new content. If you find our videos useful, we always highly appreciate a like. Thank you. Now, back to content security policy. We have already set up a strict policy and tested it as thoroughly as possible. But is there a way to know whether we have made a mistake, such as forgetting a host in the policy that we use in our app? There is a solution. As part of our content security policy, we can provide a so-called reporting endpoint. That's a URI where, in case of a policy violation, the browser sends details about what went wrong. This feature is built into browsers and is enabled by default. The client sends one HTTP post request per violation in JSON format. This request is not limited by the same origin policy, so the target server can be different from the web application's host. Here is how we can set this up. Our sample application is using the Duende IdentityServer's default content security policy. It includes default SRC self, so inline JavaScript code is disabled. Unfortunately, or rather intentionally for demonstration purposes, there is inline code on one of our pages, so there will be a policy violation. I am now adding the report-uri directive to the policy, and the value is the reporting-uri. I've called it collect report. I have already created that endpoint, but even if it didn't exist, the browser would still send the HTTP request. Let's load up the page and then take a closer look. Here in the Browser DevTools Network tab, one HTTP request is sent to our endpoint. Let's inspect the payload. We get detailed information about the violation, where it happened, which directive was violated, the original full policy, and where it happened, including the line number. But wait, there's also a script sample entry in the JSON structure, and it's empty. This field can contain part of the violating content, but is not filled by default. We have to enable this feature. To do so, we add the report sample value to each directive where we want that extra data. Let's update the default SRC directive. So I'm adding report sample, and then we return to the browser. I refresh the page. Then I take a look at the request to the reporting endpoint and I drill down in the payload, and yes, there it is. Parts of the violating code are now included in the reporting data. I have some bad news. One day, the report-uri directive may be deprecated and in the distant future, removed from content security policy. There is a second, more recent approach. Instead of the report-uri directive, where you provide a reporting URI, we can use the report-to directive, providing the name of the reporting endpoint. The difference is that this name is defined elsewhere in an additional HTTP header, Reporting-Endpoints. It uses a name-value syntax that looks like this. The name defined in reporting-endpoints can then be referenced in the content security policy's report-to directive. One key difference between those two approaches is that reports sent via report-to are queued and transmitted asynchronously, so there may be a delay. Don't be concerned if the report isn't sent immediately. The reporting-endpoints HTTP header works in all major browsers. However, in Firefox, users need to explicitly enable it in the settings. Therefore, I recommend using report-uri for the time being for maximum compatibility. When using the reporting feature, there is an even more compelling use case, the content security policy report-only HTTP header. It has the same syntax as content-security-policy, but does not enforce the policy. This is ideal for testing. Create a reporting endpoint, use the report-uri directive, and let users continue working with your application as usual. Any violations are reported, but the application behavior remains unchanged. Once you are confident that your content security policy is solid, switch the headers back to enforcement mode. I cannot stress enough how useful a content security policy is. Do consider implementing one. More security content next time. See you then.